Hey, what's up, fam? Getting caught up on everything, trying to do my best. After the last time I was gonna say I was gonna try and keep up with a lot of the manga, but unfortunately, like right after that, Thanksgiving happened, and then following that, I got ready for the holiday seasons. But right now, I got the time, so I'm catching up on the manga that I'm, I was a little bit behind on, and getting the videos caught up to the best of my abilities. That way, I can keep you guys going and keep some of these to talk about, even though some of these might not be the most popular on my channel. I imagine from a lot of my most consistent videos, like Fairy Tail, Eden Zero, Black Clover, the ones that I'm actually pretty happy that people are coming over for those. But hoping people pick up some of these other series as well, because they're also very interesting. Kimetsu no Yaiba being one of them. We're going to talk about chapters 132, or sorry, 133, all the way up to 140. We got some interesting interactions actually between Sanemi and Genya, to where you see Genma kind of just really upset, and just that even though you see normally as this like very vicious looking character, and he's like his gun and his sword, while chunks his body are missing, he's pissed, he's healing from doing all this stuff, and just to see him kind of in that weakened state when his older brother is just trashing him like that and telling me how much he dislikes him, and when he like gives him this bit about how he ate demons to become more powerful so he can try and catch up with them. His brother was just like, I'm done. I'm done with you. He's like tries to jab his eyes out, like some crazy shit was going on, and obviously Tanjiro did not take very kindly to that. If there's one thing that he definitely holds very important, it's being an older brother. So just that on top of him being buddies with Genya, probably just wasn't going to hold on to that at all. Going on from that, he actually got in trouble amongst the demon hunters, so he had to go to the next place, and he wasn't allowed to. They weren't allowed to converse with each other really. And you see the characters kind of going up to. I'm trying to remember the Earth Pillar's name. Luckily, I pulled up a tab. Uh, Guillaume, and he actually is, from what I understand, the strongest, most powerful pillar, which is interesting because he's blind and he's just like this weird force of body guy. Like his training is just to push around these boulders and like pray under a waterfall. He does some pretty basic yet really cool stuff. But what I really wanted to talk about this is the events that transpire. It's one of those times where you get into like a little mid arc after some big events, and you think, okay, they're gonna character development, they're gonna do all these nice things leading up to it, and then the end of it actually gets really intense, and I think this arc's gonna actually be pretty decently sized. Like I wasn't expecting this to turn out. I thought it was gonna be like a point way arc between something big coming on later, but it looks like it's happening now, but not as planned. Once they're still doing all their mark training, trying to unlock and well, trying to spread and do stuff with the mark that Tanjiro has, and some of the people around him got from fighting near him, to make them more powerful so they can fight Muzan and his moons, the upper demons and whatnot. And then that kind of got really serious in the last couple chapters when the head guy, actually forgot his name. I'm gonna have to, I'll remember it probably midway. I do that a lot. I'm sorry. Is Ubu Yashiki. Like, it was half of his name is kind of hard to remember. It's that Ubu part. I can remember Yashiki, but the Ubu part. But Muzan goes to see him because obviously the disease that he has is getting worse, and he's getting close to dying. You find out a little bit about his character and their family, how they only live to be 30, and they just that dedication to taking them out. And this part was actually really cool. The way that Muzan going to see him was like expecting just to have some like really cool like haha, it's your time is over arrival, and then that got really intense at the end. And the part that I actually really liked that was very, I'd say, low key and probably not as intense, but probably my favorite part so far, is once the birds go around telling all the people, that there's an attack on the estate, and, their leader's in trouble, and just seeing all these pillars rush over there and that look on their face, like they're all super concerned, they're freaking out, their leader's in trouble, and just go on that rush, just trying to make that drive over there. It was very interesting to me to have that kind of quick change of tone for all their characters and one unified reasoning and one mindset. You know, they don't want they all have a high respect for him because he's a really good leader. He's very kind. You know, he's able to get all of them, so they all have like a personal affection towards him that isn't just like he's our boss. Like he's very wise. You can tell he cares a lot about all his members. I bet he knows every single demon hunter's name and stuff about them. It just seems to be part of their bloodline is just knowing how to lead a very effectively in a very legitimate way, nothing fake. I know someone like Griffith from Berserk. Griffith was a very good leader. You know, he knew how to talk to his people, but you knew he only really saw a lot, you know, his the band of the Hawk as units and you know soldiers to get him his castle to get him that throne that he always wanted. Whereas Ubuyashiki just he wanted to take out the demons, but he very much cared for all the demon hunters that worked for him. You know, they were all unified in this cause. I thought that was really cool. And even this character, we've only seen a handful of events. I thought that was really interesting. But he actually suicides, you know, takes himself out in the process. And I understood why his wife was like, you know, she died with him. You know, she cared about him too. She was like, you know, I'm okay with dying here. What I'm really confused about actually is that his kids, assuming those were his kids, died in the process. Well, I don't think that's what they were. I think they were fakes, and you know, you'll find that. I'm hoping to find out later because otherwise, like, what? Why would his daughters die in the process? Like, maybe he has some sons somewhere, because someone's got to carry on their whole legacy to you know to eventually take Muzan out. But once he does that, he also has these like trap spikes around and these like little orbs that explode and like they turn into these big thorns and just like this big setup to take Muzan out. And all these guys like ready into this last minute effort to take him out, which I thought was really cool. And then like Gyaume shows up and I was surprised his weapon doesn't need to be a sword. He's got a flail, which I thought was really cool, like a spiked ball and chain. And he goes and he like crushes Muzan's head with it, and you just see like him heal. He's obviously the tip top of the demon, so he's like he's getting thrashed around, but not because he's weak. It's because he got caught off guard. All this stuff's happening, and he's getting pissed off. He's trying to deal with them, and all these pillars are showing up. And actually, there's this really cool panel where I'm stuttering. You could tell I'm excited that he's got all these guys are him. They're all preparing their techniques. They're getting all their moves ready and just coming at Muzan. He's like, I've got tricks up my sleeve too. He drops like his big weird dimensional house and like all these different areas open up. They all fall in. Obviously Tanjiro, I think Inosuke and Zenitsu are there. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but Tanjiro's definitely there. And you see him all go in. Actually, yeah, Inosuke's definitely there. I remember in 140 him just saying something about, you know, being the intensity of the pig assault. But all these characters running around doing is he in there? Oh, I'm trying to remember now, but I feel like I'm not remembering. Either way, I assume that he's in there. But once they get inside and he has all these big like demons in there. They're not it's like all super demons. They all have that kind of more horrific tone and look to them, to where seem more fodder. And then you actually see one of the upper demons in that chapter as well. But one of the captains, this is Bleach. One of the pillars, Igoro, the snake pillar, takes out his sword. I like seeing the swords we haven't seen yet, and you get to see his is actually really cool. It's like this curved blade. I don't know what it's called. I've seen them before. I have no idea. I have no memory what they're called. Someone tell me in the comments if you know what that's called. If you've seen it probably too. That guy's pretty cool so far as well. But he takes out a bunch of these demons, and you actually get a really interesting reaction from Kanroji. I think she's pretty funny. I like how she acts like this maiden in distress sometimes, just in those moments, like some love hungry high school girl, but at the same time she's extremely powerful. And she like her thing is that she's like she has like super condensed muscles. Like she looked like a JoJo character if she didn't have her condition. I think she's really interesting. I like her character a lot. I think she's cool. And then you get to see all the pillars just like fucking pissed. I need to wrap this up. It's getting pretty long. 10 minutes. Jesus. Anyway, but you see Gyalme and just that like pulse, like veins on his face. He's pissed off. Obviously, all the pillars are just angry that Ubuyashiki died, and at least some of them, I think, realize that he's dead. But you actually get to see Sanemi have this really cool, like I think, really defining both badass yet emotional part where he's sitting in that on your knees. I don't know what that position is. You know, you're on your knees, but it's like sitting that Japanese one, and he's just sitting down and he's just waiting for the demons. He's just like, come at me. I'm not getting up. I'm gonna just cut down everybody who gets in my way. But he's crying at the same time. I can tell that stuff with Ubuyashiki is just tearing him apart. Very upset. Oh, there we go. I'm looking at chapter 140 as I'm going through this. And here comes Inosuke doing his thing, being awesome. And Zenitsu running around there all trying to fight each other. And then that last one, oh god. See, I forget some of their names. I got some of their names down. Like I said, some of their names are finally starting to cement into my head, but some of them are still loose. Not the I don't know. I'll remember. Not the insect pillar, but the girl that works directly below her. But she goes into who I believe is pillar 4, pillar 2 maybe, the guy with the hat. He looks really cool too. I actually like his character. He's eating a person. He's got like big chunks out of this arm, and I'm worried for her character. She looks pretty pissed, but I feel like she's not gonna be able to do this on her own. Anyway, because I'd have to look double check the moons, but I think this guy I think he might be he's either 2 or 4. I know he's obviously not 1. I know I recognized 1. I definitely know that guy. Plus that guy has 6 eyes. Anyway, 12 minutes is a long one. Anyway, this is hopefully they don't want to last this long. I was very excited for some of these bits because like right when that part when Muzan shows up, and I got super excited for the following chapters, and I'm actually really still excited to see what else comes from this. Anyway, check this series out if you haven't. If you have and you're caught up, tell me how you've been taking this. I think this is really cool. I really like this sudden switch, but it's not just like bad guys attack. It's just like all this stuff happens so quickly and all these big game-changing events, and I'm excited to see where things go from here. And if you like this, remember to thumbs up the video, subscribe, check out my videos, and I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed. Thank you very much for listening.